Godspeed.
Ahoy, all of you flick freaks out there, what is going on? My name is Andrew, and we are going to continue on with the top 100 movies of all time. Yes, I know I look sexy as ever. I just came back from a wedding and I haven't had time to change because I have so many videos to record tonight. I don't have time. So I know, just try and keep yourself distracted from the fact I'm probably the sexiest thing you've seen all year. And let's move on now to number 80 through 71 in the top 100 movies of all time. Again, as I've said in every video, this is my personal list. It may not reflect your reality. These are my personal favorites. They don't reflect what you would see on any other form or filing that you would see in top rankings of movies. Because I guarantee you there are movies on here that will not be on yours, and they will not be in the same order. So keep that in mind. If you want your own top 100 movies of all time, go and make your own video. Having said that, let's move on now to number 80. Coming in at number 80, we have Gran Torino starring Clint Eastwood. Yes, I know that some of the younger actors in this movie, their performances are not up to par on what you would consider good, but I do believe that Clint Eastwood's performance more than makes up for their performances. This film is about a Korean War veteran who comes back home and sees that his neighborhood has changed from what he considers to be the worst. It takes it upon himself to right all the wrongs he sees around him with the only way he knows how. With violence. So if you've never seen Gran Torino, there's a reason it's in my top 100 movies of all time. But I say now we move on to number 79. Coming in at number 79, we have The Usual Suspects. Before Bryan Singer went on to make the X-Men movies, he gave us one of the most famous crime noir dramas ever. The movie stars Kevin Spacey, Kevin Pollak, Benicio del Toro, Gabriel Byrne, and Stephen Baldwin. The five criminals find out that they are all hunted by the Lord of the Underground, the great Kaiser Soze. Kevin Spacey actually won himself his second Oscar for this movie and what many consider to be one of the greatest performances of all time. So if you're a fan of crime dramas, this is definitely one to pick up if you've never seen it before. So let's move on now to number 78. Coming in at number 78, we have Leon the Professional, starring Jean Reno, Natalie Portman, and Gary Oldman. This is actually Natalie Portman's first movie. She's only 13 years old when this movie comes out. The movie is about Leon, who, the professional hitman played by Jean Reno, has to take in Matilda, played by Natalie Portman, whose family has just been murdered by a group of dirty cops led by Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman actually gives one of his best performances in this movie as well. So the movie gives an insight of what a young girl has to go through once she's all on her own, while at the same time it gives you the look of a hitman who has to become a caregiver now. All around great performances and a great story. If you've never seen Leon the Professional, it definitely needs to be at the top of your list of movies to see. So let's move on now to number 77. And here at number 77 we have American Beauty. Before Sam Mendes became the go-to Bond director, he gave us his first film ever, American Beauty, which he actually won Best Director for. His first film ever, he wins Best Director. The movie is about Kevin Spacey in the last year of his life. And it goes from him being just a distraught, downtrodden man to deciding he's going to live the life he's always wanted to live. It's full of great performances and a heartbreaking ending. If you've never seen American Beauty, go and check it out. And let's move on now to number 76. Coming in at number 76, we have the 1991 film Silence of the Lambs, starring Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins here takes away Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars, even though he is on screen for less than 25 minutes in what some consider to be the greatest performance of all time, Dr. Hannibal Lecter. The plot of this movie is Clarice Starling, played by Jodie Foster, must work with Dr. Lecter in order to find a serial killer who hunts down young women and cuts off their skin in order to make a suit of flesh. The movie is gruesome, dark, and it is what changed Hollywood, I think, to what we see it today as far as horror and crime dramas go. So let's move on now to number 75. Coming in at number 75, we have Francis Ford Coppola's masterpiece, The Godfather. Again, keep in mind, before you flip shit, this is my personal favorite list. It is not a reflection of the highest acclaimed movies of all time. So, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there complaining this movie is so far down on the list, because many do consider this to be the greatest movie of all time. So this movie stars Marlon Brando and Al Pacino. Marlon Brando gives what people consider to be his greatest performance, and what really gave the world Al Pacino in this amazing performance into the look of what is life in the Italian mafia during the 1970s. Again, considered one of the greatest movies of all time. If you've never seen it, it is the classic of classics that you definitely need to see. So let's move on now to number 74. Coming in at number 74, we have the 1938 film Bringing Up Baby. Probably a lot of you have not seen this movie, but it stars the dynamic duo of Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant. Cary Grant plays a paleontologist who is trying to secure a $1 million donation for his museum in order to put up a brand new exhibit of dinosaurs. He is then pursued by an extremely wealthy heiress, played by Katharine Hepburn, and her pet leopard. That's right, I said a pet leopard named Baby. The movie is one of the first comedies I ever remember watching, and it's still one of my favorite comedies of all time. And it must be a lot of other people's favorites too, because it is very highly acclaimed. So if you've never seen Bringing Up Baby and you're a fan of classic comedies of the black and white era, this is definitely one you need to check out. So let's move on now to number 73. Coming in at number 73, we have the 1954 Japanese film Gojira. To the American audience, the infamous Godzilla, the very first Godzilla movie ever. The movie came out right after the Japanese lost to World War II, and it's a really interesting story of how this movie came about. They weren't allowed to make anything denouncing the use of nuclear armaments, so this was their subtle way of saying that nuclear weapons and the fact that they destroy everything and that they have after effects, this is what it could lead to. I know it's a stretch of the sci-fi imagination, but that was the main intent behind the film. And as much as I loved the 2014 film, we would be nowhere in sci-fi if it weren't for this movie. And it stands the test of time, ladies and gentlemen, as an amazing horror film. A lot of people don't realize the 1954 Godzilla movie was in fact a horror film, not the sci-fi action Godzilla that a lot of people are accustomed to today. So that's why it deserves a spot on our list, and we are going to move on now to number 72. Coming in at number 72, we have Kevin Costner's film Dances with Wolves. The movie is about a lieutenant in the Union Army who is sent off to a desolate outpost during the American Civil War, where he befriends a local Native American tribe, and he learns from them, and he finds out that they are more than the savages that everybody has portrayed them to be. He then helps them with local issues, and he helps teach them different things while at the same time learning more than what he originally thought he could. The movie is beautiful, and it teaches you more about humanity than a lot of films have, and that's why it deserves a spot on our list. Now let's move on to number 71. Coming in at number 71 and wrapping up this week's list, we have Good Will Hunting, starring Robin Williams, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Minnie Driver. The movie was actually written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and they took home the Oscar that year for Best Writing on a Screenplay, and it was well-deserved because this movie is incredible. It's about a young man who works at a college as the janitor, but the staff quickly find out that he may actually be the most intelligent person there. But it's his troubled past that keeps him from achieving greatness, so they hire Robin Williams, a psychiatrist and therapist, to help break through the issues and help make him the man he was always meant to be. The movie is emotional, heartbreaking, and incredible, and it definitely deserves a spot on our top 100 list. And that is how we wrap up this week's top 100, numbers 80 through 71. Well, thank you to everybody for watching this video listing off the greatest movies of all time, my personal favorite list, top 100. If you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button over there. And if you really wouldn't mind, support me on Patreon, because we're all going to make this channel better together. We just got our first Patreon supporter not too long ago. Who's going to be number 2? Oh, what's that you say over here in the top? Click on that icon up there and it'll take you over to our Game Geeks channel, where you can find out all the fun Let's Plays, walkthrough guides, and video games that you can handle. I will catch you guys in the next video. And until then, Godspeed.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This video's over!